Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, I bead this tweed jacket with lovely olive and khaki beads.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So I bought this jacket. Well, it's ex-designer, so I bought it. I was looking at it for that reason. But this looks so much like some of the vintage 1960s actual Chanel tweeds were in really bright, intense colours during the 60s. And this just reminded me of some of the vintage Chanel suits that I've seen in museums and things like that. So I got it, and March this year, I finally made it up into a jacket. So it's Marc Jacobs, and I bought it at Mood Fabrics. They sometimes carry ex-designer stock, and I just love it. Like khaki or olive is one of my favorite colors, and then it's mixed with hot pink and this pale pink, as well as this sort of gray mauve color, and there's some yellow in there as well. It's hilariously loud. And originally I thought it's more of a coating fabric, so it's quite bulky. And so I knew I had to put a lot of beads on there. So I was like, should I put pink? And then I was like, should I put red and pink? Or should I put all different pinks? Because there's a couple of different pinks in the tweed. But then just last jacket I made was this other Marc Jacobs tweed, which is gold. And I happened to have these khaki and olive beads out because I wasn't sure how I was going to bead the gold one. And I had these out and I was like, no, that's right. I once decided I was going to do khaki on this, or olive on this jacket, because it's got so much of that colour in there. And recently, another jacket I made a couple of jackets ago was the vintage one. And vintage knits sort of have specific types of beading rather than specific types of design rather than all over design. They've got these very specific motifs in very specific parts. So I thought with this beading, I'll do the same. I'll have sort of around the neckline, I'll have the big ones, and around the cuffs and around the hemline, I'll have the big ones, as well as those handmade glass hearts and those sort of beads. And then I'll sort of scatter around the pebble size ones to accentuate the stone size ones. It's going to make sense once I do it. So anyway, I had all these beads because I have got so many olive and khaki jackets. I did a whole month in August, was it? I had a whole month where I tried to do some of my olive and khaki tweeds, but I still have like half a dozen that aren't done. So that's why there are so many olive and khaki beads. I'm not going to use them all, but I'm going to make a dent in it. So these big sort of pebbles, they look like, pet rocks. Do you remember those from when you were a kid? I grew up in the pre-internet age and we had weird toys. Yeah, so it was like a rock with two googly eyes on it, or eyes painted on it, and it was supposed to be your pet rock. Anyway, that's what these beads remind me of. So I divided them up and I started stitching them on. And so here we go. It's I think there's 50 of the larger rock ones, and then I had a few dozen of the hearts and the glass hearts and some other round glass ones. And the silk on this has got gemstones on it, so it's actually quite fitting. But I actually sewed this silk lining in, so it makes the top really, really difficult to do because you've always got to navigate around the lining. It's so frustrating. Now I'm making jackets without the lining in them. So I make the outer jacket, then I do the beading, then I make the lining and put it in. And it takes longer overall, a little bit longer, but oh my gosh, so much less frustrating. Actually, if you count in the amount of extra time the beading takes when you have to navigate around the lining, it's probably easier this way. So all the big heavy beads are done, and I had to stitch these in 3 times. Normally I stitch each bead in twice, but yeah, these are super heavy. So I still have some of the handmade glass ones left, so for around the top, and now I just have to fill it in and bulk it up with some smaller beads. So yeah, I divided them into 6, I think it was, and yeah, so I've got I'm going to do 50 of the pebbles on, here you go, I've done this cuff. So there's 50 of the pebbles. There's 2 different types of pebbles. And then I had 20 of the oval faceted plastic ones, the little ones, see-through ones, as well as there's 10 or 20 pearls in each. So there's a mix of everything. And I am so determined to use up all my beads this year. You cannot believe. So now the cuffs are done and I like them. So I'm going to start on, I think they'll start on the front bottom. I think I used too many of the square shaped pebble beads at the too near the center front. I won't do that again. But apart from that, and I've just done the tiniest amount and it took so long. But yeah, I really like it. I think this looks beautiful and it's going to age well. Once the top is in as well, I really like it. The sleeves are going to be empty at the top, I think. It's just going to be around the neckline and the torso that I add beads at the top and the bottom, or you can tell what the bottom's going to look like. So I've done one half of the front. I have to do all of the back and I have to do the other front half. So hours of fun yet to go, but you get a general idea of what it's going to be like. And yeah, I like it. Those square pebbles annoy me, but not enough at the moment that I want to take it out and redo them. So yeah, we shall see. I will go and do more work. Okay, I just counted. There's actually 14 pearls, not 20 or 10. So there we go. And here we go. So I've done the whole of the bottom now. So I did the left side was done, so I filled in the right side. And I'm not so concerned about the square beads now because I sort of echoed it on the other side. So I feel like they look vaguely symmetrical in an organic way. So not perfectly symmetrical, but they've got exactly the same amount of beads on them and they're roughly in the same way. So yeah, I don't know. They look like they're sort of splashing like waves. You know, there's a vague uniformity, but it's organic. And this is what it looks like from the side. And then here's the back. And yeah, I really like it. I was a little concerned that there might not be enough beads on the back, but I really like how many beads there are at the bottom of the jacket. I think with the cuffs, I might go back and add maybe 20, 30 beads, just a few more runs, because I feel like they aren't quite the right weight. They're just not quite heavy enough, and there's a few more gaps than I would like. And then as I said, I made 6 sets of beads, whereas I actually needed, if you counted, you've probably figured it out already, I needed 8 for the torso and 2 for each cuff. So I needed a total of 10 rather than a total of 6. When you're embellishing an entire jacket, it's often easier to divide all your beads into 6, and that way you do front left, front right, back left, back right, left arm, right arm. But with this, because it's a different style of beading, I needed 10 sets. So yeah, it was okay. I had enough beads. I had enough of the smaller beads, just wouldn't have had enough of the big beads to do it. So here we go. And there's a couple of pins in here because I just had to put it on the mannequin I wanted both sides to look pretty much symmetrical, organically so, but symmetrical. So I've just put some pins in where I wanted the last few runs of beads to be so that it looks balanced. And then, as you can see, I went ahead and beaded them and we're done. As I said, I think I will go back and add a little bit more to the cuffs. I'm not sure. I mean, they do look nice. I'll leave it and have a look at them by daylight because sometimes I just change my mind. But I'm really happy with it the way that it is. These green beads just, they just transform it. They're just so beautiful. I love green, but they just make it so pretty. I love them. And I wasn't sure whether I would see how there's no beads on the sleeves. I wasn't sure whether I would like that or not, but I really do. I was tempted to add some sort of runs of beads down the shoulder and sort of down to just a bicep, but I don't know, I kind of like them the way it is. And here's the cuff. You can see how it's a little bit more sparse than the top and the hem of the, the body of the jackets. They feel like they're more dense. And the cuffs, yeah, I just feel like if I put a little bit more beading in there, they'd match better. But yeah, and oh, I love that square bead. I only had one, so I wasn't sure whether to put it in because it's a different shape than all the others. But colour-wise, it's a perfect match for the round glass beads and some of the hearts. So I'm glad that I put it in. Plus, it's a really beautiful bead. So there we go. There's one bead at the front of the bottom of the front that looks like it's on wrong, or that the jacket is sitting wrong, and that really annoys me. But it's just the light hitting the bead wrongly. So maybe I'll put some googly eyes on it. I'm joking. And that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. It's my first make of 2024. Well, I was just adding beads to something already made, but it's finally in a wearable state. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've been inspired to do some beading because beading is awesome. So thanks again. Happy sewing.